Hello, Brave Awakened Ones. Veronica of Higher Realm Holistics here. Um, Spiritual counselor, guide, certified integrative holistic health nurse, and author. I had promised to do tablet number 5, the Dweller of Unal, from the Emerald Tablets. Before I even go into that, I made a video this morning. It's on noon now. Went on a very, very long bike ride. I was guided to go on a very long bike ride to the beach. As I was going on the beach, there's a nice bike path that goes around. I enter on one end, the intercoastal way where the boats are. And as I was going in, passing the boats, there was a 4-wheel beach buggy, but it was military beach buggy, and the guy driving it said police on his big bulletproof vest, looking like he's in the Middle East at war, helmet, face shield. All I could see was his mouth. Total riot gear, big guns on his side, machine gun on his back, driving through. And he was following this Jeep that had a bike in the back of it. I suppose that was somebody who felt they needed that type of protection. I've never seen something like that ever here. Never. I was like, go away. Why are you in my space? But yeah, I guess that's the type of stuff we're going to see. I guess, in my head, I was like, if you're that scared to come out just to go on a bike ride and go on the beach, and you need somebody in freaking riot gear to follow your ass around, then you shouldn't be out then. What'd you do that you're that scared of coming out? What the hell did you do? That was the one thing that really disturbed me. Then I had to let go of it because I was like shook and I wanted to cry. I was like, oh my God, my own neighborhood. What the heck's going on? I just wanted to cry. Now, then when I got to the beach, I was guided to relax and lay down, right? I was meditating just quietly, thanking Gaia, thanking the water, just feeling the water and everything like that. And then I felt something very heavy come over me. I opened my eyes and I literally saw, I heard a lot of voices, and that's what made me open my eyes. This is not the happiest thing that I saw. I saw groups and groups and groups of people, like thousands and thousands and thousands of people marching, because I heard marching into the ocean. And I'm sitting there in the midst of them, and they're like washing over me, like water would wash over you, like you're in the middle of it, so the water comes over you and goes around you. So it was just like groups of people just marching into the ocean. And then I recognized one of them, and I said, hey, where are you guys going? And he turned around. He's like, oh, hey, girl. He's like, yeah, it's time for us to leave. It's time for us to go. And it was this guy, very friendly guy from my dance class. He's morbidly obese. Like, he's pushing like 500 pounds. But when he started, he was like close to 600 pounds. Doesn't do much in class, but, once in a while he goes like this. And I keep trying to boost him. Do more. If you can do more, He's like, But he's like, well, you were right. I should have done more. He goes like that to me. I was like, all right, bye. And he's like, yeah, see you, girl. You do your thing. You do you. He used to always say that to me. Yeah, you do your thing, girl. You do your thing. Oh, you inspire me. I love watching you. He's like, yeah, you do you, girl. And I was like, okay, sorry. And he's like, oh, goes like that to me. Then he marches with the rest of the people into the ocean. Yeah. I was like, wow, that's really interesting. So, and then the message I got out of it was just like those of us who went all in, put everything on the table to ascend, I guess that's what he represented, not putting it all in. Because that other video I did was all about, Source pushing and saying, okay, are you all in? It's, my interpretation, balls to the walls, my New York interpretation, putting it all in, put everything on the table, having to put everything on the table in order for your cup to overflow, in order for the gates of heaven to be open to you. And unless you put it all in, the gates aren't open to you and you're going to have to leave. And yeah, he was marching into the ocean with the rest of them, leaving. Now, the only other time I had a vision like that was a couple of years ago. And it was 2.5 years ago. Yeah. A couple of years ago, right when I got this place. And I was standing right where I'm doing this video right now, standing here looking out over the water, and the beach is right on the other side. And I saw a wall of water coming towards me in the vision. I was like, holy crap. And then I just saw it taking down all the big skyscrapers, the huge buildings that they're building right on the beach, which was supposed to be illegal. But then the new mayor of the city came along and granted them the permits after it being a huge referendum that no new building was supposed to go on the beach anymore. He gave them permission to start building on the beach all of a sudden, and it's just this wall of buildings. You don't even see the beach anymore. All the birds are gone. The beautiful, colorful parakeets we used to get in this early summertime. There was one year, they were all dead on the sidewalk. It was nonstop. My son was like, oh my God. He actually picked one up and showed me. He's like, look, all the parakeets are dying. We hardly see birds. We see hawks and some vultures. No more parakeets whatsoever. Pigeons. All the beautiful birds don't come here anymore since they built that wall of buildings. And I was shown all those buildings just crumbling into the ocean. And then the wall of water stopped right before it came over the bridge to my side. And then I heard, you're safe here. I was like, okay. And then literally it was just this huge, it was like, ever see the 10 Commandments when the Red Sea parts and you see heave the dry in the middle and that wall of water is right in front of them? That's what it looked like. The wall of water was right there and it was just taking everything out. Now, I thought it had something to do with the hurricane that happened here 1.5 years ago, because it really took out that side. And I used to live on the other side. And, but no, that's not it. It's going to be even more devastating, a lot more devastating. It's going to wipe that out. But yeah, don't like sharing that news, but it was so intense and things are so, I can't hold back. That's why I shared the numerology. I'm sharing the astrology and everything, the messages I received, because there's no holding back now, because, we're here. This is the Great Awakening. This is the Ascension. This is the event. So everything's on the table. There's no holding back. And sorry for the last video. My neighbor's back. You must love all of God's creatures. That's all I have to say. She's back for the winter. Any which ways. So we're going to do the Dweller of Unal. It might end up going to 2 videos. So let's see what happens. Tablet 5 of the Emerald Tablets. Oft dream I of buried Atlantis, lost in the ages that have passed into night. So Thoth is talking, he's picking up the story here from after Atlantis fell and sank. They had to sink Atlantis because of what the Atlanteans were doing, opening up a portal and allowing, oh yeah, that's another thing I wanted to tell you guys. Yeah, further on, it's connected to the other video I made last week in reference to the red the red vampire being dead, the red vampire, and quote, AKA Apocalypse. I know him as Apocalypse. He was also called the red vampire. Oft dream I of buried Atlantis, lost in the ages that have passed into night. Eon on eon thou existed in beauty, a light shining through the darkness of night, reminiscing of how wonderful Atlantis was before the big fall, mighty in power, ruling the earthborn, lord of the earth in Atlanteans' days, king of the nations, master of wisdom, light through Unal, keeper of the way, dwelt in his temple the master of Unal, light of the earth in Atlantis' days, master he from a circle, master he from a cycle beyond us, living in bodies as one among men. Now, he's talking about how the one that was the great being, you know, he'd be referred to as a god, small g, you know. Big G is the all source creator. He came and was dwelling, living, he took residence in this temple. Well, what he turned into his temple, but it was a cave, basically. He came to help those survivors of Atlantis and of the rest of the world, the rest of Gaia, get themselves together. Basically, that's what this great being came to do after Atlantis sank because of the nonsense that they were doing. And here he is, he's describing this master of Unal. Unal was the peak of Atlantis that was still left above the water after the greater of Atlantis sunk below. Master he from a cycle beyond us, living in bodies as one among men. Again, great being, and he took physical form to come help the rest of humanity. Not as the earthborn, he, capital H, every time I say he, it's a capital H-E, he from beyond us, son, S-U-N, of a cycle advanced beyond man. Again, a great being that's well advanced from way higher dimensional realm. Like Yeshua. Know ye, O man, that harlot, the master, was never one with the children of man. In other words, he was never a human soul. He was never a human soul, unlike Thoth is a human soul. Far in the past time when Atlantis first grew as a power, appeared there one with the key of wisdom, showing the way of light to all. Showed he to all men the path of attainment, way of the light, capital L for light, that flows among men, meaning the light of love, not the false light, the light of love, the true light. Mastering darkness, leading the soul, the man's soul. Master of darkness, leading the man's soul. In other words, leading their souls to awakening, to enlightenment. Upward to heights that were one with the light. Divided the kingdoms, he, capital H, into sections. 10 were they, ruled by children of men. In other words, this great being came down and he divided the kingdoms, and he assigned each section to be ruled over by different humans, more enlightened humans. He divided them to 10 kingdoms. Upon another, he built a temple, built but not by the children of men. This is where the great pyramids come from. This is the temple. Think of the first great pyramid. This being built, the first great pyramid. Out of the ether called he its substance, molded and formed by the power of Ytolan. Ytalan, I guess. Into form he built with his mind. In other words, this being, when you read the Emerald Tablets and you have an understanding of it, this being would be considered a guardian of the Most High, where he is literally, like Jesus said, after Yeshua went through what he did when he was down here with the crucifixion, and he said now he goes to join his Father as the Son, at the right hand of the Father, meaning not reabsorbed by source yet, but right there to the point where you are that high. You take the seat of the Most High. That is when beings go that high, when your soul advances to that height of ascension, you have mastered all the other levels. You've mastered the material, you've mastered the soul, you've mastered the mind. Now you master the spirit. Once you master the spirit, you master all the lower things below you, meaning the material and the mind. So you're able to create out of the ethers. Okay? Literally the substance of all, because we all know everything's God. I'm God, you're God, the phone's God, my hair's God, everything's God, everything's source. And you're able to pull from source. You get to that point, you're able to just use prana, use the ethers to create magnificence, like a great pyramid. Out of the ether he called its substance, molded and formed by the power of Dalan. Into the forms he built with his mind. Mile upon mile it covered the island. Space upon space it grew into its might. Black, yet not black, but dark like the space-time. Deep in its heart, the essence of the light. He's describing the temple, the pyramid that this being, the son of Unal, the master of Unal, was building. Swiftly the temple grew into being, molded and shaped by the word is all capitals, of the dweller. That's the master of Unal, the dweller, all capitals. Called from the formless into form, built he then into it great chambers, filled them with forms, called forth from the ether. Fill them with wisdom, called forth by his hand. In other words, all the great writings in the pyramids, he's saying that's how this being just formed them. And it was the wisdom, he put his wisdom on those walls. Formless was he within his temple, yet was he formed in the image of man. In other words, it was almost like he was a hologram, basically. Dwelling among them, yet not of them. Strange and far different was he from the children of men. Children of men are earthlings and earth souls and human souls. Chose he then from among the people 3 who became his gateway. Chose he the 3 from the highest to become his links with Atlantis. Messengers they who carried his counsel to the kings of the children of men. The dweller of Unal, the dweller, he chose 3 who he felt were enlightened enough to understand his great message to bring out to the masses, just like Jesus with the apostles, right? And Mary Magdalene. Brought he forth others and taught them wisdom, teachers they to the children of men. Placed he them on the island of Unal to stand as teachers of light to men. Each of those who were thus chosen, taught must he be for years 5 and 10. Only thus could he have understanding to bring light to the children of men. In other words, they had to go through training before they could go out there and be the teachers of enlightenment. Thus there came into being the temple, the dwelling place of the master of men. I, Thoth, have ever sought wisdom, searching in darkness and searching in light. Long in my youth I traveled the pathway, seeking ever new knowledge to gain. He's talking about himself, how that was his thing. Just like my thing is to be a builder, a builder in the new age, of the golden age. His thing is to be the bringer of wisdom, which that's what his soul path is. Until after much striving, one of the three to me brought the light. So one of the three, one that were chosen by the dweller, came to Thoth. They were drawn to him because it was time for Thoth to become the great master that he is. Brought he to me the commands of the dweller, called me from the darkness into the light. Darkness, light is all capitals. The darkness meaning the darkness of his mind, of his soul, unawakened. But he was always partly awakened. He came in partly awakened, just like us, just like light workers. He's a light worker, so it was his wake-up call. Brought he me before the dweller, deep in the temple before the great fire. There on the great throne beheld I the dweller, clothed in the light and flashing with fire. Down I knelt before that great wisdom, feeling the light flowing through me in waves. Heard then the voice of the dweller, O darkness, come into light. This is the dweller saying, O darkness, come into light. Come have ye sought the pathway to light. Long have ye sought the pathway to light. Each soul on earth that loosens its fetters shall soon be made free from the bondage of night. And this part right here, it hit me really strong that this is what's going on right now. The change of the ages, just like Atlantis was the change of the ages, but that was into darkness. This is the change of ages from that darkness. This is why this is so important. The Emerald Tablets. It's so important to have a grasping of it, because this was the beginning of our darkness. Okay, and now we're coming out of that darkness, so it's great to understand how it happened. Okay. Forth from the darkness have ye risen, closer approaching to the light of your goal. Here ye shall dwell as one of my children, keeper of records gathered by wisdom, instrument thou of the light from beyond. Now the dweller is talking to Thoth. All this is the dweller talking to Thoth, saying, this is your sole purpose. This is your assignment. Because Thoth called him to it. Thoth knew in his heart, okay, this is what I want to do, be the keeper of the records of wisdom. Thoth Hermes. Ready by thou made to do what is needed. Preserver of wisdom through the ages of darkness. The ages of darkness. That's what we've been going through. And Thoth has been preserving this wisdom. And that's why he's been back. He has awakened and is, this resurgence is coming up right now. But, it's been going through the ages, but it's really, he's like here in fullness now. That shall come fast on one of the children of men. Live thee here and drink of all wisdom, secrets and mysteries unto thee shall unveil. So he told Thoth, come live here. in my temple so you could get all that knowledge. Okay, it was his initiation, just like Yeshua. Yeshua went to Egypt and went through the Holocene thing, you know, and I was there. Then answered I, the master of cycles, saying, O light that descended to men, this is Thoth talking, give thou to me of thy wisdom that I might be a teacher of men. Give thou of thy light that I may be free. Spoken then to me again the master, age after age shall ye live through your wisdom. When o'er Atlantis the ocean waves roll, holding the light through hidden in darkness, ready to come when your thou shalt call. So Thoth has been the keeper of wisdom and knowledge and the light for us through this dark, dark, dark time. And now he's bringing the wisdom back up. Go thee now to learn greater wisdom. Grow through thou light of infinities all. Long then dwelt I in the temple of the dweller, until at last I was one with the light, meaning he was completely awakened and gained all the wisdom and knowledge he was supposed to gain. Followed I then the path of the star plains, followed I then the path into light, full awakening. Deep into earth's heart, I followed the pathways. Now, how many times have you heard of all those hidden pathways in the temples that they don't understand what they're for and stuff like that and blah, 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 blah. Learning the secrets below as above, meaning the secrets of the cosmos and the secrets of the earth. Learning the pathways of the halls of Amonti, learning the law that balances the world. The earth's hidden chambers pierced I by wisdom deep through the earth's crust into the pathway hidden for ages from the children of men. Unveiled before me even more wisdom until I reached a new knowledge, found that all is part of the all capitals, all as in source creator, great and yet greater than all that we know. Search I infinity's heart through all the ages, deep yet deeper more mysteries I found. Now, as I look back through the ages, I know that wisdom is boundless, ever grown, greater throughout the ages, one with infinities greater to all. Meaning, there's no end to the wisdom. There's no end to growing. There's no end to knowing the vastness of the universe, the vastness of all of Source Creator. Because all is ever growing, ever changing, ever expanding. Light there was in ancient Atlantis, yet darkness too was hidden in all. In other words, Atlantis was the shining star. Atlantis was everything. Atlantis was the center of wisdom, the center of knowledge, the center of science. But there was a lot of dark stuff going on too. Fell from the light into darkness, some who had risen to heights among men. In other words, the humans that went to the heights of wisdom and knowledge and science and everything like that, they got drunk with power. They got drunk with their knowledge. And I don't know if you guys, if you had to have seen this, you will see, like, I've seen this so many times, even when I was taking physics in school, and we'd be doing experiments, and there'd be kids, not kids, because they were, you know, like I said, it was a college class. I was the kid. But yeah, we were still kids, teenagers, and early 20s. So they would do stuff, experiments. I'm like, why are you doing that? What's the point? And it was, oh, because I could, because it's this and that. And they get drunk with their wisdom, literally. And you could see that. And when it comes to like artificial intelligence, AI, they're doing it because they can do it. without without using the wisdom of what the consequences are going to look like, without the damage it's going to do. You know? So that's what happened to the Atlanteans. They got drunk with their own knowledge and power. Most dangerous. Most dangerous. I mean, it's like they wallowed in their freaking ignorance. They wanted to be ignorant and blind to the consequences. So this is what happened. They plunged into darkness, fell from the light into darkness. Some who had risen to heights among men, proud they came because of their knowledge. Proud were they of their place among men. Deep delved they into the forbidden. Deep delved they into the forbidden. Opened the gateway that led to beyond. One word, CERN. CERN, okay? Stargates that they have no business opening. That's what they're trying to do now. Again, they're trying to reenact this. Okay? Sought there to gain ever more knowledge, but seeking to bring it from below. Okay? What do they say? We want to know what dark matter's about. The God particle. The Higgs boson. He who descended below must have balance, else he is bound by lack of our light. In other words, you have to be a strong light being to be able to go below. Now, they did say Jesus descended into hell. He descended into much lower, into the fourth dimensional lower realm where he freed souls before he, came back and did the resurrection for those 3 days. They say he descended into hell. That is where he was. He was in that lower, dark, fourth dimensional realm, helping free some souls from their dark bandages, their bondage. And these high knowledge people in Atlantis, they were doing the same thing these knuckleheads are doing now in CERN. Going below, but they're not light beings. I've delved into the darkest recesses of 4D to pull out people, but I was not fazed by it because I'm on that other side, far high enough into the light and that is how it has to do with hermetics. I cannot swing the other way because I'm fixed in that direction towards the light. So the dark cannot affect me and pull me in. That's where you got to be to do it. He who descends below must have balance,